You ready? Welcome, everybody. Call the meeting to order at 6:30. I'd like to note the following persons are present: Councilor Cannon, Councilor Chason, Councilor Hatfield is coming in by Zoom. Staff President Kathy Sear, Clerk Sue Lord, Administrative Assistant, and welcome guests. Number two, I'll go disclosure of pecuniary interest. Is there any? Seeing none, we'll continue. We'll move on to the approval of the agenda. There's a motion.
Moved by Councillor Cannon, seconded by Councillor Chason. Resolved that the agenda for the special meeting of council scheduled for Tuesday, January 25th, 2022 be approved as presented.
All in favor? Motion carried. Delegations and presentations, we have none tonight. We'll move on to number 5, announcements that we have notice. Firstly, I would like to thank every person who submitted their name to run for office. Welcome. It's important to remember that we sitting up here in the front will select a new council to represent the community. It's our jobs as members of council to work together and make decisions about plans, strategies, policies to govern our town. You may see council members attending meetings, functions, ceremonies, and other events. This is because we want to continue to build relationships with our people in the community and learn what the community is happy about and see what they've changed. It is an honor to represent our community, and remember, we are here to represent everyone. I wish you all the best this evening, and we look forward to hearing your presentations. So before we move on to the new business, I would like to invite the clerk to speak about the process to be used this evening for the selection of the new council for the vacant position. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So the purpose of tonight's meeting is to provide an open, accountable, and transparent procedure consistent with the Municipal Elections Act and the Municipal Act to fill the council vacancy, which was declared on December 14th, 2021 through the passage of Resolution SP 21020. The following procedure was approved by council. 1, the municipal clerk posted notice on the municipal website and the local news media. The notice was in the form and determined by the clerk. The nominees were provided a copy of the 2018 Candidates Handbook as prepared by the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing. All nominees completed and signed an application form and statement of qualification, along with the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy form to post their photo on our website. The vote to fill the vacancy of the office of councillor shall occur at this open council meeting called according to our procedural bylaw of the municipality of Wawa. In keeping with the procedures present to council, the clerk will read a motion and provide the names of the candidates who have completed the application form and statement of qualification. This will take place under item number 6.1. The names of the candidates are as follows. 1, Melanie Pilon. 2, Mary Harbosian. Angela Kalaisi, Michael Reed, Matthew Morrison. The mayor will call for a motion from council that the persons named have signified in writing that they are legally qualified to hold office of councillor and have consented to accept the office if they are appointed to fill the vacancy of councillor. This will take place under Article 6.2, item 6.2. Each of the candidates will be afforded the opportunity to address council for a period of not more than 10 minutes, and this will be strictly enforced. The order of speaking will be determined by lot. The names will be drawn, shall address council in the order they are drawn from the container. This action will take place under item 6.3 on the agenda. Once the speaking order is determined, the remaining candidates will be sequestered to a separate area until it is their turn to speak. Once the nominees have had the opportunity to speak, they'll be able to return to the meeting. Upon hearing the submission of the candidates, council will proceed to vote as follows. 1, members of council will vote in support of one candidate only by a show of hands. Each candidate's name will be read out by the clerk, and the council members will then vote for that candidate. The above process will be followed for each candidate until the list of candidates has been exhausted. If the candidate receiving the greatest number of votes does not receive the majority of votes of all members of council voting, being 3 votes, the candidate or candidates who receive the fewest number of votes shall be excluded from consideration. In the event of a tie vote, each candidate will be provided an additional opportunity to address council for up to another 5 minutes. Again, the remaining candidates being considered for the position will be sequestered to a separate location until it's their turn to speak. Once all presentations are made, the vote will be retaken for the remaining candidates as outlined above. In the event of a further tie, where there are 3 or more candidates remaining, the clerk will determine by lot the name of the one remaining candidate to be excluded from subsequent voting. Where only 2 candidates remain, the tie will be broken by the clerk, who will, by lot, determine the name of the successful candidate. Upon conclusion of the voting, the clerk will declare the candidate receiving the votes of more than 1/2 of the number of voting members of council, or the candidate selected as a successful councillor. If there is only one member who indicated an interest in being considered to fill the vacancy, or upon the conclusion of the voting and drawing of lots, the clerk will declare the successful candidate. Council, following the voting process, will pass a motion appointing the successful candidate. This motion will take place under item 6.1. The appointment of the candidate will be confirmed by bylaw. The bylaw confirming the appointment will be enacted by council at the February 1st, 2022 regular council meeting. The clerk will administer the declaration of office required by subsection 232(1) of the Municipal Act at the next corporate meeting. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, we'll move on to number 6, new business. 6.1 is confirm the actions of the clerk. We have a motion.
Moved by Councillor Shaso, seconded by Councillor Cannon. Resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Municipality of Wildwood does hereby approve the actions of the clerk in accordance with section 263 of the Municipal Act.
All in favor? Motion moved. Carried. Move on to 6.2. Councillor determination of qualifications. We have a motion.
Moved by Councillor Cannon, seconded by Councillor Shaso. Resolved that the following persons who have signified in writing that they are legally qualified to hold the office of councillor and have consented to accept the office if they are appointed to fill the vacancy of councillor, be and are hereby considered for the appointment to fill the vacancy. 1, Melanie Pilon. 2, Mary Harbosian, Michael Reed, Angela Colazzi, Matthew Morrison.
All in favor? Motion carried. Move on to 6.3. Also candidates presentations. I'll ask the clerk to begin the process. More presentations.
Okay, so I have the names of all the candidates. First candidate I have is Angela Colazzi. I'll place her name into the bucket. Second name I have is Mary Harbosian. I'll place that name into the container. Third name I have is Matthew Morrison. I will place that name into the container. Fourth name I have is Melanie Pilon. I will place that name into the container. The fifth name I have is Michael Reed, and I will place that name into the container. I'm not looking. Oop, as you can see, this is the order for speaking. First person to speak will be Melanie Pilon. Second person to speak will be Angela Palaisi. Third person to speak will be Mary Harbosian. Fourth person to speak will be Matthew Morrison. And finally, the last person to speak will be Michael Reed. So I will ask Sue Lord to take the candidates around to the back. She'll bring you to another sitting area until your name is called to come and speak. Melanie, I welcome you to the front table.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's give it a couple of minutes.
I feel like I'm sitting on the
I
floor.
don't think it matters. Okay.
Thank you, Matthew. Oh, these chairs are horrible. Give it a couple of minutes for Sue to return.
Hello, how are you? Very good, thank you. Thank you, Sue. So I did prepare, well,
I just want to welcome you, Melanie. Maybe if you get your presentation. Thank you very much.
thank you very much, Mary Kate, and thank you very much, Counsel, for allowing me to come and make my presentation today. I did prepare a very short presentation. I was lucky enough to follow a very basic template provided by an organization in Sudbury called Politics Now that encouraged and helps women to play a role in municipal politics. So it's entitled My Story, Melanie Pilon, Council Candidate. And I don't know how to work this thing.
Slide it up again.
Okay. Excellent. So I just wanted to start off with a very brief slide, the story itself. So just a little bit about myself. Everybody I think here knows me. My name is Melanie Pilon. I'm born and raised in Walla. Lived here for the majority of my life. I'm a member of Book-Quimacong First Nation, and I have very strong family ties to Mishawatan First Nation. I work as a senior consultant for Indigenous Relations with Bell Canada. I'm also an AIC candidate for Boreal Appraisals. So what that allows me to do is do residential and commercial appraisals throughout Northern Ontario. The firm that I work for is based in Sudbury. I have a keen interest in municipal politics and always have. I've always followed municipal politics very closely in Wawa, but throughout the North and certainly the Superior East region and Northern Ontario. My interest in politics started at a very early age. When I was very young, I won't tell you how many years ago because I don't want to age myself. I'm starting to be at that age, but if any of you know, certainly Kathy will remember. I started my career in working for the Superior East Community Futures Development Corporation as a youth intern. So I really grew up in the Community Futures program, and really that's where I got my feet wet. Really grew up around the politics and the politicians in Northern Ontario, being mentored by men like Morrison and Howard Wendt, and all the municipal mayors in Wawa. My interest grew in 2012 when I had the opportunity. I was selected to be a delegate for the Governor General's Leadership Conference, where I was one of 250 leaders in Canada to be chosen for this national conference. The theme that year was sustainability, and communities. So that was an amazing experience where I was able to spend 2 weeks on the road using Canada as a classroom and really learning from many of Canada's leaders and speaking to a host of wonderful people. So that's a little bit about myself. The story of us. So really the story of how I really fit into the community now. Presently, I'm the chair of the Superior East Community Future. So no matter how hard they tried, they couldn't get rid of me. I've been here for quite some time, worked my way up from the intern to the chair of that fabulous organization. I serve as the vice president for the Regional Employment Help Center as well. So those are the two positions that I currently hold, but I've held a number of volunteer positions in the community. I was the past chair of Wallen Area Victim Services. I've volunteered with the drag races as well as the fish derby and many other volunteer organizations. I really would describe my leadership style as a servant leadership style. I view leadership positions as an opportunity to serve others, as opposed to really kind of using it as a platform to further myself. So the primary reason for me wanting to get involved in this, or as a counselor, as well as any other organization, is really because I feel like I have something positive to contribute. So as you've noticed in my letter, I have certainly a background in business, as well as roots in the community. I feel like I've got the business and political acumen that will serve me well in municipal politics, as well as my business and financial skills that will help me in making tough decisions when needed. So all in all, I feel like I can act as an agent for positive change. The story of now. So when I'm on the streets of Lowell, I feel like there's three key issues that really stand out when anybody's speaking about municipal politics. I think number one is economic development. Certainly housing is a big one. And brownfield redevelopment, or people often talk about the derelict buildings that we often see or boarded up. So those are the three key issues that I've certainly heard of. Big one, of course, with the EDC decision that had recently come down. So I have 15 plus years experience in economic development, many of which I was an economic development officer for the municipality of Dubreuilville, or for the township of Dubreuilville. I successfully implemented large-scale economic development projects in both construction and in telecom. I have a funding and grants experience, brownfield redevelopment training with the Federations of Canadian Municipalities. So certainly that would be helpful. And obviously, I've got housing development experience and knowledge with zoning and official plans. And that comes from my experience as an appraiser. So all of that to say, I'm very, very well aware that this is not an interview for operations. So I understand that there's a fine line. And I think that's very, very important to say, to make note of. I do applaud Council for their recent decision for bringing economic development in to the municipality. I think that based on my experience and what I've seen happen in other areas of Northern Ontario, I think that was very wise, and I look forward to there being a change in an approach in how economic development is done in Lowell. And I look forward to be part of that change. And I think that's it. So that's my very quick slideshow. So Miigwech, thank you, merci. I'm very happy, I don't believe that there is a question and answer period, but I'm happy to take any questions should there be any, and that's it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Melanie. It's gonna stop the presentation before it's renewed.
Thank you, Patricia.
That's her mom.
That's my mom, Mitch.
Oh, Melanie. Oh, boy, I'm glad I'm home.
She just told you you look like your mother.
That's not the first time I've heard that for sure.
We were just all talking about our fabulous internet service in the mission.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier as well.
Okay, Angela, you can go to the floor.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dear Meditating Council, thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak with you regarding my interest in the vacant municipal council position. As stated in my letter of interest, I have recently moved back to Wawa and like to actively give back to the community as I did in my previous community. A lot has changed since I left to continue my education and pursue my career. The industry has changed, the population demographics have changed, thus the community has changed, and I would like to be part of the ongoing change that is currently happening. In 2021, the municipality of Wawa brought the municipal wayfinders on board to conduct a transformation review. From that transformational review came 83 recommendations broken down into 5 categories. The transformation review also brought about the creation of the 2021 to 2025 strategic plan for the municipality of Wawa, a plan which complements these recommendations. While the strategic plan outlines 6 key priorities and action items, it also provides the mission statement that council and its employees will proudly serve the community by providing a balanced range of sustainable and affordable and necessary core municipal services and programs that meet residents' needs. And also the vision statement. Wawa is a sustainable community focused on providing essential and cost-effective programs and services that contribute to the well-being of its residents. With my 25 years operational business experience coupled with my previous community service and experience and my passion, I believe that I can contribute to both the mission and the vision of the community. I also believe that my career and personal experiences lend to the municipality's core values of integrity and respect, teamwork and collaboration, excellent customer service, fiscal responsibility and sustainability, and accountability. These are all values that I've portrayed throughout my career and in my personal life, and I instill in my daughter. I thank you for your time, and I believe that given the opportunity, I would be a great asset to the community and the Municipal Council of Wawa. Additionally, if required, I do have a reference from the CAO of my previous former municipality of residents who is willing to provide a reference or an attestation of my previous community involvement and passion. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Angela.
Or Michelin, my apologies.
Mary, you're having too much fun out there.
I know.
You hear lots of giggling. Mhm.
Hi, Mary.
Hi.
Okay, you can begin.
Okay. Before I begin, I would like to acknowledge the traditional and ancestral land of the Anishinaabe of the Huron Superior Treaty 60, on which we sit here today. Thank you for letting me present. My name is Mary Harbosian. Wawa has been my summer home for almost 40 years, and now is my permanent home. My husband, Martin Roger, spent most of his childhood in this town. I have 5 children and 6 grandchildren. I have worked with the public for years as a hair designer, a school bus driver, a music store employee, and a journalistic writer. When my children were young, I volunteered at their school as an educational assistant. I volunteered at a music association as a newsletter editor and folk concert organizer. I ran an open mic in Southern Ontario. I am a musician and have played in various bands for years. I have my own upcycled clothing business called Karma. My husband and I ran an Airbnb in our home, and because of being an independent small business owner, I recognize the unique challenges of the local business community. I am also an outdoor enthusiast, and so connect deeply with this area. I was a marathon canoe racer and made it to the nationals in Saskatoon. I also took the stand-up paddleboard instructor course. I canoe, kayak, swim, snowshoes, ski, paddleboard, and hike this magnificent area. The love of sport has helped me realize the potential of Wawa as an outdoor sports destination. Being in these disciplined activities has taught me fortitude and how to push myself far beyond what I ever thought possible. These lessons have come in handy in my life. Since moving here, I have initiated the Friends of the Park, joined the Wawa Music Festival Committee, the Goose Nest Committee, and the Fledgling Arts Council. Because of my background experience and being an outside-the-box thinker, I would bring a clear understanding of the large and growing creative community to the table. I have a vision for the future of Wawa. The potential for this town is off the charts. We just have to move forward boldly. Every successful town has a big, diverse table where ideas and proposals are put on the table for discussion. We have to welcome diversity. I have never been in a political position before, never run for council. Protocols, process, bylaws can be learned. Caring, on the other hand, cannot. I understand clearly the role of council. Quote 4.1, a role of council is to ensure the accountability and transparency of the operations of the municipality, including the senior management of the municipality. End of quote. A councillor is a watchdog serving the interests of the public. It is a sacred duty of public trust. I understand that the job of councillor is really not a job. A councillor is a public servant employed by the taxpayers. That is how I would approach this position. In the end, I love this area. I would like to help in the reconfiguring of its potential. Miigwech, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
Okay, great. Honorable Mayor, Council, and municipal staff, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak in front of you today and to share why I feel that I would be the best candidate for the current vacant councillor position. My name is Matthew Morrison. Most of you know me as I grew up and have lived here in Wawa for the majority of my life. Let me tell you a little bit about myself and some of my related experience for this position. I have a schooling background in construction engineering and also environmental engineering. I started my working career at River Gold Mines, now Westone, working in the engineering department. Worked out west as a project manager for the Canadian government, managing public funds for large construction projects on military bases. I've also worked on the contractor side as a project manager for heavy construction companies, installing water and sewer lines, roadways, asphalt, concrete curbs, sidewalks, and foundations for residential subdivisions, and also commercial and industrial facilities. I was a Northern Area Coordinator for the Algoma District School Board for approximately 10 years, stationed out of Wawa, managing the public schools in Wawa, Chapleau, Hornpain, and Missinabie. I also managed all busing in those communities, plus White River and Duberville. From September 15th to January 2017, in Wawa. Due to work and personal reasons, I moved to Thunder Bay and was the facility manager for the Thunder Bay Public Libraries. I managed 4 facilities, plus sat and on and chaired various committees. In January of 2019, I moved back to Wawa to be closer to a failing family member and to work as a quality control inspector for an Ontario Hydro project out in Anjigami. Since COVID, I have been working odd jobs, but recently opened my own contracting company, and I'm currently a director of the EDC. All these experiences have taught me how to manage publicly funded budgets, how to make tough decisions that not everyone agrees with, and how to stand behind those decisions once they are made. I enjoyed my previous time on council, town council, helping to improve this wonderful town, and would love to be given the opportunity to do so again. I look forward to your decision. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Matthew.
Glad you're there.
Have your eyes open right along.
Welcome, Michael. Yeah, anytime you're ready, go for it.
Fellow Council and Mayor Tate, my name is Michael Reed. I'm a Wawa local, born and raised. My family has been here for the last 4 generations in some capacity, and I recently moved back to town to enter the next chapter in my life. Last year, I had the opportunity to work at the EDC as a project management intern, and there I was exposed to the different kinds of opportunities our community faces, and I learned more about the decision-making process for how things happen within our community. During this time, I realized that council was a great place for me to apply myself for the betterment of our community and hopefully inspire more youth to participate within our community. So if appointed to this vacancy, I would like to approach the decision-making process from 3 distinct lenses: resident attraction and retention, youth representation, and fostering civic engagement. For resident attraction and retention, I'm just going to speak a few words on this now. Technology and the pandemic have caused a large number of shifts in our daily lives. One such shift being remote work, where the use of internet technologies have allowed to just decouple the worker from the office and allow work to take place virtually anywhere. A large number of jobs are transitioning into this new work format, and I think Wawa is positioned very well to have an influx of new money flowing into the community without the need for industry to follow. Our low population density, affordable cost of living, and beautiful natural environment are great assets for Wawa to capitalize on and draw young professionals into our community. To begin with, to prepare for this, Wawa might begin by preparing and marketing ourselves as a remote workers workcation destination, where they move here during peak tourist seasons to work their 9-to-5s and take advantage of our many great tourist amenities on the weekends. This allows an opportunity and time for Wawa to address our housing crisis, one of the major roadblocks in increasing our resident attraction and retention capabilities. It may take time, effort, an investment of time, effort, and money. However, I feel that the inclusion of remote workers within our community offers to add an additional buffer against our traditional boom-bust economic cycles and provide new opportunities for local citizens and businesses to thrive. Wawa is a community with a population of 60% over the age of 60, so it's no wonder that council and the municipality have invested so much time and effort into identifying and addressing the key issues the seniors face within our community. This is doubly true during the pandemic, where they faced above average health risks and increased social isolation. Things like the Goose Club and the Wawa Age Friendly Plan, which was recently updated by the Economic Development Corporation, are just some examples of the great work this community is doing to identify these issues. As we slowly transition out of the pandemic and into a new normal, I hope to see an equal amount of time and effort invested towards the other end of the spectrum, the youth, who also suffered similar issues with upheaval in their daily schedule and increased social isolation during a time when social interaction is so critical to their development. If appointed to this position, I hope to see the establishment of a youth group, committee, or council where youth have the opportunity to identify the key issues facing their demographic and work with older individuals to develop plans which might be integrated into Wawa's already existing age-friendly plan, turning Wawa into a truly age-friendly community for ages 2 to 102. Now, growing up here, I always had ideas about how Wawa could be made better. Early on, they were silly things, such as putting juice in the water fountains or putting a mall downtown with a skate park in it. But as I got older, my thoughts turned more towards addressing the issues I saw all around me, such as the use of alternative housing models to address the housing crisis not only in town, but in our nation as well. When discussing these concepts and ideas with locals within the community, I often encountered a similar mentality and statements such as that's impossible, that things don't often happen within our community, and that things don't change, and they never will. Very evident of a defeatist mentality. I feel this viewpoint and mentality is corrosive to a civically engaged Wawa, where our citizens feel their voices are heard and people feel empowered to enact change in our community. While this is a deeply rooted issue, I feel that we can begin to take steps in order to change this mentality, beginning with providing increased education and information on the decision-making process within our community, beginning by developing and identifying the criteria and framework by which decisions are made within our community, and launching an awareness campaign to educate those within our community, with the ultimate goal of this being that those who are motivated to implement change within our community can better tailor their plans and ideas to accommodate the criteria by which things are assessed in our community. While there's this is a complex issue, and I feel that there are many confidential issues which might cloud me from understanding the full scope of this issue, I firmly believe that Wawa's continued longevity and prosperity hinge on a more civically engaged population. I'm thankful for this opportunity, Council and Mayor. I thank you for all the work that you do to make things happen within our community. And I would like to address any of the young individuals at home that might be watching. And just let you know that even if I'm not appointed for this position, please don't let that discourage you from trying your best and being an active participant within this community. If people feel that they can't make a difference, change will never happen. And one of the worst things that might happen to our community is for people to stop caring. If that happens, Wawa will lose so much more than we realize. I thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you for your time, Michael.
Yes, yeah.
This time I'd like to turn the chair over to the clerk so that they call for the votes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll call out the name of the candidate and ask council to vote by a show of hands to select the candidate as the name is read. As a reminder, you may only vote for one candidate. The candidate with the least number of votes will be eliminated from each round of voting. Melanie Pilon. Angela Kalaisi. Mary Harbosian. Matthew Morrison. Michael Reed.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Kathy, but did you see me?
Yes,
Thank you.
I did. So we have 3 people that have remained. We have Mr. Morrison, Ms. Pilon, and Mr. Reed. I'll ask the 3 of you to go back to the back. And Melanie, you may stay because you're going to be given another opportunity to address council for 5 minutes. The others can stay. Sorry. Angela and Mary are able to stay. The other 2 don't. Sorry, my apologies. We'll wait for Sue to return.
Presentation.
Pardon?
You can begin your presentation.
Wonderful, thank you very
Speak for
much.
another 5 minutes.
So I wasn't, so I'm just kind of going through my mind and I'm trying to think, I wasn't prepared for a second presentation. So it's time for me to really sing for my supper now. And so thank you very much for granting me the second opportunity to speak for council. So with the second opportunity, I will request, or I will ask council to consider. I certainly believe that I spoke to my previous experience, so I'll just ask council that I'm very interested in the position. I think I have a lot to bring to the table. I think certainly my contacts would certainly be helpful to the table, as well as the diverse voice. Certainly as an Indigenous female, but as a young person. And I think that's important to bring to the table as well. And I'm just going to leave that there. I don't think I have anything more to add. I think all of the information is written in my letter of interest in my first presentation. So,
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Melanie.
She said, thanks, Melanie.
oh,
Yes. We'll invite you back in.
Kathy, the next person would be.
Matt Morrison.
Yes. Honorable Mayor, Council, and municipal staff, thank you again for what to say. I feel that with my previous experience, I've been able to become a problem solver. Given any opportunity to solve a problem, I enjoy doing that. I'm interested in the housing problem we have here in town, and would love to be able to help out with that if elected on council or chosen on council. Previously being on council, I'm very proud of some of the work that we did around Goose. I've not really sure what else to say. I just feel that I could be of great assistance to the current council. Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome back.
Go ahead. I just want to begin by saying I was not expecting a tie, so this is going to be a little bit less cohesive. But I'd like to return to the housing crisis as I previously mentioned in my address. And so to start with alternative housing, I feel is an excellent opportunity as a segue as we begin to solve the other issues preventing us from working further on the housing crisis. Alternative housing most frequently refers to housing options that aren't in the traditional sense of a regular detached dwelling or apartment style complex. These can include smaller tiny home style houses or basement apartments, anything that is outside of the normal scope of a traditional dwelling. And the reason these I feel are excellent opportunities to address the housing crisis is that they take advantage of a lot less resources. So it's a more feasible option to get small developers into our community to put housing up now while we need it, with the influx of industry in the area, as well as people looking to exit the city due to the pandemic and seeking out different kind of lifestyle opportunities, I feel they offer an excellent transition period while we are able to get housing, or well, an excellent transition to address the need as we work on building more additional houses. And yeah, unfortunately, that's all I have for the matter. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes. Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. So again, I will call out the candidate's name, and I will ask council to show by a show of hands who you wish to vote for. Councillor Hatfield, if you wouldn't mind, when you decide to vote on a candidate, can you keep your hand up a little bit longer because I'm not as quick looking beside me? Thank you. Ms. Pilon. Mr. Morrison. Mr. Reed. Okay. So we have two names that are tied. We have Ms. Pilon and Mr. Reed. So what I'm going to do is place those names back into the bucket. When I draw the name, that name will be eliminated from the vote. I have Melanie Pilon. And I have Michael Reed. Okay. So Michael Reed, your name has been eliminated. So we'll call for a vote one more time for the two candidates. The ones with the highest votes will be selected. Ms. Pilon. And Mr. Morrison. Thank you. I'm pleased to announce that Matt Morrison is a successful candidate. I'll now turn the chair back to Mayor Tate. Sorry, Ms. Pilon is a successful candidate. Silly me, I'm looking right at it too. I apologize for that. It is Melanie Pilon as a successful candidate. I'll now turn the chair back to the mayor. And it's clear, it's on my form. I can show it. It is clear. I apologize for that.
Okay. Item 6.4, council vacancy.
Moved by Councillor Chason, seconded by Councillor Cannon. Whereas the Council of the Corporation and Municipality has had an opportunity to hear presentations from the candidates to fill the current vacancy on council. Now therefore be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation Municipality of Wawa does hereby appoint Ms. Melanie Pilon as a member of council for the Municipality of Wawa for the remainder of the council term ending November 14th, 2022. And further, that the appointment shall be confirmed by bylaw and at the administering of the declaration of office at the next corporate planning meeting scheduled to be held on February 1st, 2022.
All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you, Kathy. I wish you congratulate Melanie Pilon as a new member of council. Before we close this meeting, I wish to express my sincere thanks to each and every one for putting your name forward. This was not an easy decision for council, and we did it right out here, which is awesome. Each of you have unique qualities and experiences. I would encourage you, please, to consider running for office this fall. Our next municipal election is scheduled for October 24th, 2022. Thank you very much for participating. Now we will proceed to close the meeting.
Moved by Councillor Cannon, seconded by Councillor Chason. Resolved that the meeting closed at 7:27 p.m.
All in favor? Motion carried.
Thank you.